that said Oneida Branch Seminar. So today's not going to be a lesson. It's going to be a seminar. Big difference. So if any of you have heard of like a mission president seminar, all the mission presidents will come in and then they're trained. They're not given like a talk or a lesson or something. They're going to be trained on how to be mission presidents. And so the Oneida Branch Seminar is going to be us training you about how to be a member of the church. And we are very excited. Those of you who were in our council meeting this morning, I was enthusiastic as all get out for this, because like the other day we just had this epiphany of like, we just understood everything all at once for some reason of like missionary work. It just everything clicked. And we wanted to, well, everyone needs to know about it. And that's kind of where we're at today. And I guess like my biggest thing, my biggest worry about this today is the fact that, and this is me, I'm guilty of this completely. I come to church, I come and I sit down in front of everybody, or with everybody. I play the music, we see a couple people get ready to do the sacrament. Elder Nicholas or President Sanders or President Colbert will get up and they'll say the opening exercises, and then we hear some talks. And then we go to our Sunday school class, and then we go to our Priesthood Relief Society, and then we go home and we forget it all.
You forget it all.
I forget it all, right? And so that's what I'm guilty of, and I honestly think, based off what I'm going to teach today, so don't make any assumptions right as I say this, based off the assumption of what we have researched, everyone's pretty much like that. I can't remember who spoke 3 weeks ago, and I need to repent. And if you can't remember who spoke 3 weeks ago, so did you. And my biggest thing is, if we are in here today and we leave and this lesson turns out to be just like 3 weeks ago that we can't remember, then this hour is a waste of our time. And I honestly feel that. This will be the biggest waste of our time. We spent hours getting statistics, we spent hours preparing this, and if we don't see results because we don't apply this, then this is a waste of our time. I completely 100% agree with that. And so that's why I'm so excited, because I know results will come from this. But if we don't, then it's our fault. And as far as I'm concerned, I will have wasted my time and you have wasted yours. And so we are just incredibly excited for what we're about to show today. So I would like Elder Hatanaka to pass out this is what we came up with, and this is what's going to be really exciting.
She's got one right there.
It's an extra. Let's throw it over the back. Okay.
So, as we came up with this, our minds were really focused on something that we'll point out. And I guess my first question is, who feels that they know how to do member missionary work? You do? Okay. How so?
Well, I talk with everybody I possibly can about the gospel, whatever the subject is at lunchtime. We seem to somehow always get around to religion, so I get a chance to say a little something. I try to show by example to my family and friends, hopefully being that light that's set upon the hill. I've gone on splits with the sister missionaries. I've taken the sister missionaries like everywhere. They used to be sisters here when we lived here the first time, and so I was the designated driver because I had a flexible schedule. And I've borne my testimony to many people, and so there's probably more things that I could learn how to do, but I feel like I tried to do that, yes.
Cool. Great. Glad. So everything you stated is exactly what we need to do and more, and that's what today's going to be. I do want to well, I guess I can explain it later, but looking at the graph, looking at the numbers, what do we see?
1990 was awesome.
1990 was awesome. Huh.
That's right.
Yeah. And what's this year? 2014. And we haven't touched the numbers like that since 1990.
Do we know what happened in 1990? Other than great spurt and growth? Was there some?
Well, the Cold War almost came to an end. I know that I wasn't born yet, so I really don't know.
Oh.
What?
I was in the hump for 1995.
Yeah?
Alberta.
Awesome.
That was me.
Cool. Yeah.
Josh and everybody.
What else do we see?
It looks like we're going up.
It's a downward trend since
Again,
1990.
but
Okay.
it seems to go up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yep. What else do we see?
It seems like there's a steady growth of, steady, sustained baptisms over the last 5 years. And based upon the way that they were tracking or presenting the material, or the way the gospel was preached, has come to a plateau versus any other means of preaching the gospel.
That's
What about nourishment? I mean, you could have a lot of converts that come into the church, but keeping them nourished so they want to stay there and want to come, so the numbers don't fluctuate as much.
Actually, you're right, 1990 was a peak year, and it came up substantially for 1989. But if you were, 1985, but if you were to take 25 years, almost 30 years, and do a statistical average, it would be pretty flat.
exactly.
Okay, so we haven't grown, and actually we have gone down,
Exactly.
because the members are increasing, so we should be trending up, but we are actually going in the wrong direction. We're going down, statistically.
And so that is the biggest thing that we found, was that the church has plateaued for the last 25, 30 years. We haven't reached above 300 some odd thousand baptisms in 1 year for, well, ever in the church's history. I think 1990, if I'm remembering right, that was the most baptisms we've had in any year in church history. And in 1990, the church membership was almost half of what we have now. And that means, if everyone remembers Brother Turby's expression, stagnation is death. If we're not going anywhere, like, we're not increasing. And that's the problem. And I think the reason why that we have plateaued is because, one, you have not been doing your job. And two, neither have we. We haven't done our part in helping you understand what you're supposed to do. So we are stagnant. We aren't going anywhere. Now I want to do a few statistics here that might open our eyes a little bit on top of what I've already given you. So how many members do we have in the church?
15 million.
We have just over 15 million members. Okay. So we have just over 15 million members. And how many missionaries do we have in the field as of, well, right now?
80,000.
88,000.
Sorry. Well, 8,000 went home.
Yeah, right. So,
The last quarter, so 8,000.
but what we're going to do is we're actually going to take 80,000 just for the sake of, we're going off of last year because that's the number we have right now as of convert baptisms. And if we have 15 million members, and we have 80,000 missionaries, and we've plateaued on baptisms, most of those baptisms came from the missionary efforts, not from referrals or from the members giving us referrals of people to teach. The reason we came up with this conclusion is because not just this branch, but every unit I've served in on my mission, like I haven't seen much like Preach My Gospel tells us to do. I don't see that in the branches. And that's simply because no one's been trained on it. So I can't necessarily say, Elder Nicholas, this is all your fault. You haven't done your job. I can't say that completely because you haven't been trained on your job. And no, I'm not saying that with everybody, but we come to a plateau. 80,000 of the missionaries are doing probably most of the work in tracting, finding people baptized and everything, and that's why we plateaued, because we don't have the members' involvement. So now we took a rough estimate of the average. We're going to take 300,000 baptisms. Can someone get a calculator out? Like on their phone or something? We had, if last year we had 80,000 missionaries and we had 300,000 baptisms, then if we divide 300,000 divided by 80, what is that number? 80,000.
About 3.8.
About 3.8. Okay, we're going to round down to 3. Is that what we get? Okay. So we're going to round down to 3 just to be nice. And so that's every single missionary had 3 baptisms. So each companionship had 6 baptisms in 1 year as an average throughout the world. Me, I've only had 1 baptism in my mission. So that shows that Brazil's doing really good right now, because there's some missionaries down there getting like 10 baptisms a week. And so the average comes out to that. And so we figured, like, if the members could at least get, well, at least do what they've been asked to do. Now, before I jump into that, I want to give a total, and this is pretty shocking to me when I heard this. What's the percentage of activity in the church worldwide? What do you guys think?
What do you mean by that?
Like percentage, like out of 15 million members, how many of those are active?
What percent?
Hmm?
I would say 42%.
I would say 30.
32? What did you say?
45?
I'd say it's definitely not good.
19.
It's pathetic.
19%.
20%.
It's really bad.
It is pathetic. That's awful. We're the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. We're the one true church on this earth. And we
It
have...
is 42%, is that the?
That's what I've heard from our mission president was, well, he said 46 a year ago. So I don't know what the actual is, but I know it's around 40. So we're going to we'll go 42%. So I want 42% of 15 million people. If you could do that for me, please.
6.3.
And you're good.
Well, I don't know, let's see.
6.3. You're really So if we take 6.3 million members active in this church worldwide, and we take, and if the average of one person doing missionary work all the time is 3 baptisms, we're going to cut that down. We're going to say, since you got jobs, you got families, you got a life, you get 1 baptism a year, each member. How many baptisms would we have a year if everyone got 1 baptism? We have 6.3 million baptisms in 1 year.
That day's coming.
It will come.
Uh-huh.
It will. If we heed to the prophet's voice and trust and do our missionary work. It's so possible. It is so possible to hit that number. Could you imagine the statistical report coming out in General Conference and then like, we had 6.3 million baptisms this year. We would almost double the church in 2 years. We'd have 30 million people in the church. And then you take those people and you give them 1 baptism, you would have 60 the next year. It's possible. But the reason it's not happening is because you're not doing your job and I'm not doing mine. And so that's where we're going to change that today.
Yeah, but could you change how you say that? Because I'm thinking some people do some work, and you certainly do your work.
Yeah.
Do we just need to step it up a notch, or raise
Okay.
the bar, or, something like that? Because we do need to talk about it more, and we
Yeah.
need to learn how to do it better, and those kind of things, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it's more encouraging that way. Is that
Okay. All right, I'll be more
Will you grant me
encouraging.
that?
Sure.
You have to remember.
So,
Soften that
Yeah.
politically, please.
okay, I'll be touchy.
No,
Or,
sensitive. Well, sensitive.
I'll be sensitive. Okay, I'll be sensitive. All right, we all can step it up a notch. Does that sound better? Okay.
Thank you.
So we can all step it up a notch. We really can. We have the capabilities, and that's what today is I'm not trying to tear us down, because I'm just as guilty as everyone else is in here. I don't remember anything that happened 3 weeks ago in church. If I really thought about it, I could go through the programs, I could find out again. But I'm not doing my missionary work as best as I could. And I know that